Today we're going to be spending 72 hours on Jeju Island, also known as Korea's Hawaii. With its warm climate all year round, Jeju is a place filled with amazing seafood, black pork, and of course unforgettable desserts. It's some of the best food you'll ever find in Korea, and I'm here today to be your guide so you can eat like a local. This is Jeju Island for 72 hours. It's a little chilly today. The weather here in Jeju is very volatile, but that's okay because we have some hot soup and noodles. We're going to try mollusk guksu. Mollusks are those tiny little creatures that cling to the surface of rocks. I know they look a bit freaky, but they're basically the snails of the ocean. Trust me, they taste incredible. This place is giving me a mix of Santorini vibes and Jeju vibes. It feels like the perfect cozy spot to start our first meal here. The lady told us to begin with a little bit of homemade doenjang sauce, which is fermented bean paste. It's common for many guksu or knife noodle restaurants to serve barley rice on the side. I don't know how that tradition started, but it's nice to see how even simple side dishes bring in hints of seafood and coastal flavors. The thing about barley is that each kernel really stands out. It almost feels like eating harder tapioca pearls. Wow. So we ordered a bunch of dishes. Let's go through them. The first one is the mollusk guksu. For toppings, we have thinly fried egg pancake, scallions, carrots, and at the center, mollusks. These are like the escargots of the sea, small, snail-like, and packed with flavor. They add a wonderful briny taste to the broth. But here's the catch. They have to be extremely fresh, which is why Jeju is perfect. Mollusks grow almost everywhere here, like moss on rocks. Next we have tot guksu. In Korean, tot refers to hijiki, a black stringy seaweed. I know it looks a little scary, but when added to soup, hijiki turns gelatinous, creating a thick, viscous broth. You can see the difference. The hijiki soup is darker and more concentrated. The noodles in this dish also contain buckwheat, giving them a grayish color and a deep, earthy aroma. The hijiki adds an extra punch of brininess, almost like the caviar of the sea. The texture is slippery but also pops slightly when you bite into it. Really unique and delicious. I topped mine with a bit of kimchi because whether you're on the mainland or on Jeju, kimchi is always part of the meal. This is truly a dish you can only get here, so it's a must-try when visiting the island. A drizzle of sesame oil ties the whole thing together, balancing the ocean flavor with the nuttiness of buckwheat. Next is pungmaijuk. Juk means porridge, rice thinned out with water into an oatmeal-like consistency. This one is green from the innards of the mollusks. I have to admit I love noodles, but at heart I'll always be a rice girl. Beside it is another porridge, slightly yellowish in color, abalone juk. You can see the ridges of abalone pieces on top. Abalone is one of Jeju's treasures and considered a delicacy. On the mainland, this dish could easily cost $25 to $30, but here in Jeju, you can get it fresh for about $13. The best part? Restaurants clearly state not only that the ingredients are Korean, but specifically from Jeju and even the exact village. Simple, honest, and delicious. So Jeju is famous for three things: rocks, wind, and women. First, rocks. Jeju was formed by a massive volcanic eruption from Mount Halasan, which left behind porous black lava stones found only here. Second, wind. Because the island sits in the middle of the Pacific, it's constantly breezy. Third, women, and this one might surprise you. Jeju is home to the Haenyeo, or sea women. These women free dive for seafood, a tradition that began centuries ago. During the Japanese colonial period, many men were sent away to work in camps, leaving women to provide for their families. Free diving became their livelihood, and to this day, the Haenyeo culture survives. Tomorrow we'll get to taste some of the fresh catch brought in by modern Haenyeo. Right now we're in Wangi Cactus Village, which marks the start of an Oli trail. These trails are identified by the little ribbon markers you see around. There are about 13 official Oli trails, and I used to hike them all back when I was a Girl Scout. This is one of my favorite spots because it's one of the only places on Earth where you'll find cactus, volcanic rocks, and a crystal blue ocean side by side. In the distance, you can also see wind turbines generating renewable energy, a glimpse into the future. For Koreans, Jeju is truly our Hawaii. Whenever visitors asked me, is it worth visiting Jeju? My answer was always yes, 100%. Jeju feels completely different from the rest of Korea. It's slower, more connected to nature, with seafood and ocean life at its heart. Jeju also has a personal place in my story. I spent 2.5 years of middle school here, attending an international school before moving to America. At the time, I didn't appreciate it enough. I thought I was a city girl missing out on Seoul. But now, coming back, Jeju fills me with teenage memories, camping trips, awkward crushes, and even my battles with pimples. It's nostalgic, and I love it. The mascot of Jeju is the Dol Harubang, literally stone grandfather. It's the statue you'll see everywhere on the island. Can you guess what it's supposed to represent? Believe it or not. So it's a fertility symbol shaped to resemble a male anatomy. Women would pray to the Dol Harubang for children, especially since men were scarce on the island. And you know that connects back again to the story of Jeju's women. With so many men gone, women took on the role of providers, diving for seafood and keeping their families alive. That spirit still totally defines Jeju today. Once seen as like no equipment, hens have now become an emblematic symbol of Jeju, attracting many tourists. This interest is great because it's allowed many young people to keep the tradition alive. Shall we go in for a cup of green tea? Another thing very famous in Jeju is the green tea fields. Surrounded by lush greenery, these tea plantations are a beautiful sight. The mature leaves grow steadily, while the new young leaves sprout with sweet herbal flavors, perfect for a refreshing cup of green tea. Since I have a sweet tooth, we're also going to try some desserts. How beautiful is this? It feels like I'm in a garden right now. Matcha ice cream topped with a matcha glaze, house-made red bean paste, and matcha bingsu, all made using organic matcha straight from the source. This isn't farm to table, it's more like window to table just a few steps away. I don't even know why I'm blowing on it, but the beans are surprisingly good. The matcha is great, but honestly, the red beans stand out even more. Usually it's hard to find homemade red bean paste anywhere in Korea, but this pat bingsu is legit, truly authentic. I also love how the matcha comes in different layers and forms, from the shaved ice, the ice cream, and the glaze on top. Together, the red bean paste ties everything into a creamy, cohesive dessert. Here we also have a matcha latte. Once stirred, it turns into a Shrek-colored drink, but it tastes amazing. Sweet, with a slightly bitter green tea note that balances the flavor perfectly. That's probably why Koreans love pairing red bean paste with matcha. It's not too sweet. On the side, we have some chonghae tangerine peels simmered in syrup. Normally, raw tangerine peel is too bitter to eat, but once simmered, the bitterness blends beautifully with the syrup, releasing a subtle aromatic orange fragrance. I'm washing it all down with warm matcha, grassy and herbal, with a complex bitterness that ends with a light sweetness. At this moment, I feel completely at peace. The Zen life chose me and I chose it. Now, let's talk about the weather. This is one of the reasons I love Jeju. The climate is mysterious, often foggy because of the sea and humidity. It's volatile, almost British in its unpredictability, but not in a bad way. It creates these eerie, dreamlike Twin Peaks vibes that I love. But strangely enough, it also makes me crave Jeju's famous black pork barbecue. The restaurant we're heading to looks like an abandoned school building, but don't be fooled, there's something very special here. As soon as we sit down, a barrage of banchan, or side dishes, flows onto the table one after another. The must-try dish in Jeju is black pork. This breed is indigenous to Jeju Island and is pricier than regular pork. Unlike the big fat pink pigs you usually see, Jeju black pigs are smaller, hairier, but far tastier. Bigger isn't always better, especially when it comes to flavor. Alongside the pork, we have kimchi, pickled garlic, perilla leaves, pickled onions, pickled radish, gochujang, soybean paste, which is a little sweeter than usual, and of course Korean green onion salad called pajeori. Thick slabs of black pork arrive with a quality stamp on the side, proof of authenticity. The charcoal fire is incredibly strong, and thick king oyster mushrooms are grilled alongside the meat. The pride Koreans have in their meat is clear. The black pork takes longer to grow than conventional pigs, so the yield is smaller. But just like good food, flavor matures with time. Unlike standard Korean barbecue, Jeju-style barbecue has a special twist involving a secret container, which we'll see soon. The mushrooms, which I'd usually skip, look so good here that I can't resist. We arrived early, which was a good choice. The restaurant is filling up fast and it's only 5 p.m. The ventilation system is working overtime to suck up all the smoke. Now for the first taste. Look at this cut. It's massive, thicker than what my teeth, big as iPads as my mom used to say, can usually handle. But once in my mouth, the meat is tender, juicy, with a sweet nuttiness that lingers at the end. It doesn't feel overly heavy or greasy, it just melts in your mouth. Honestly, this is some of the best pork I've ever tasted in Korea. This bite I'm dipping into mat sauce, fish sauce made with anchovies. The only place in Korea where you're going to find fish sauce and barbecue together is Jeju. It's a truly Jeju thing. You might be thinking, fish sauce and meat, does that really go well together? Surprisingly, the mix of the two creates a beautiful harmony between land and ocean. It really represents the best of what Jeju has to offer. The more you chew the pork, the fat and lard slowly exude, softening the meat. It becomes buttery, and that saltiness blends perfectly with the porky flavor. That's how it tastes. I really want to thank our grill master today. This is the best Jeju barbecue you'll ever have. The quality of the pork, along with the fish sauce element, is so unique. Honestly, just tasting this alone is worth making a trip to Jeju. Back when I was in school in Jeju, whenever I did well in exams, we celebrated with black pork. Black pork is definitely a little more expensive, so it was always our special occasion meal. Moving on to the third course, we have soybean paste stew, which is most commonly served as a side dish. The version here has seafood. You can even see the claw of a crab sticking out, along with some mussels. It really incorporates the essence of the fresh seafood available in Jeju. Pouring some over rice makes for a light finish. Unlike heavy umami-packed stews, this one is delicate with a clean aftertaste that helps wash away the richness of the pork fat. For Koreans, rice is our dessert. You don't want to fill up on rice too early because you want to eat as much protein as possible. Tonight, it's all about the meat. Great vibes, great food, incredible hospitality. This is something very uniquely Jeju, a place that holds a special spot in my heart. Let's go for a little walk. I'm feeling kind of full now, or maybe not. Honestly, I would love to live in Jeju one day, even just for a while. The beauty of Jeju lies in its small mountains called Orium. They're more like hills formed as byproducts of volcanic eruptions that created the island. The scenery is gorgeous, peaceful, tranquil, and slightly eerie. Good morning, Jeju. Today we're at Seomya Market. Seomya means every day, and we're on the southern part of the island. This is where you'll find a stunning coastline, warm people, and of course, delicious food. Visiting the market is a fun way to see how the people of Jeju live and eat. We're here specifically for breakfast, the perfect way to start our morning. And what better way to begin the day than with something a little fried and a little sweet? This isn't a traditional Jeju thing, but it's a personal favorite of mine. The inside is filled with brown sugar, and as it cooks, the edges puff up, turning translucent as the air bubbles rise. It becomes golden brown like a Korean-style pancake or donut. It looks like buttermilk pancakes, but is even better, lighter, fluffier, and made with yeasted dough. While he was explaining the history of hotteok, she just wanted to eat. She wasn't having it today. Because she had to wait, he gave her 2 hotteok instead of 1, and she was happy. That laugh you heard? That's the laugh of a Korean who just got a good deal. These hotteok look amazing, fluffy, with a caramelized brown sugar filling. You can tell the dough was handmade and perfected by him, not the factory-made kind. Light and fluffy on the outside, moist and chewy inside. In Seoul, 1 hotteok usually costs around $2, but here it's only $1. Honestly, I want to move to Jeju. Inside the stall, the lady who is both chef and owner greeted us warmly. She said, "I already have many guests and I'm overwhelmed, but please come in." That's the kind of hospitality you'll find here. This is self-serve at its best. I'm a new assistant at this restaurant, so let me introduce our KIU, which is pork noodles. On top, you get these thick slabs of boiled pork. Just look at how juicy they are. Sprinkled over are sesame seeds and a little scallion. Underneath is a red sauce that adds both color and a gentle spiciness to the dish. I need to try this broth because it smells so good. Wow, just wow. It's like a really soothing pork bone broth. The finish is so clean, not oily at all. It feels light and fresh. That's the biggest difference between Japanese tonkatsu ramen and Korean stew. Same ingredients, but different technique. Incredible. We mix the noodles with the red sauce and they look so juicy. The shape is kind of similar to BBO noodles, round, a little plump. but ours are wheat-based. If you've ever had Korean bosom before, that's what the pork on top is like, braised on low heat until it's incredibly tender. The broth from braising the meat is also used in the noodles broth. The combination of wheat noodles, tender meat, and kimchi on top is just amazing. And the kimchi here is especially good. I also ordered meru, which means anchovies. Remember the green barbecue we had yesterday that used anchovy-based fish sauce? Anchovy is one of the most common local ingredients in Jeju. Here, dried anchovies are simmered into a broth. The classic Korean stock, called dashima yuksu, made with kelp and anchovies. It's flavorful, light, and has a salty finish from the kelp. On top are julienned onions and carrots, which add a nice crunch. The slippery noodles with the clean broth create a perfect umami balance. As a little sao, a freebie on the house, the chef gave us extra pork from the KIU noodles. The pork is braised low and slow, cut into different shapes and thicknesses, which makes every bite unique. On the side, she served lettuce and a vegetable called mo, similar to pumpkin leaves, along with house-made soybean paste. She makes everything herself. It's just her cooking, serving, and handling payments, so the experience feels very personal. She even turns away guests when it gets overwhelming. If you're patient, though, you'll get some of the best noodles on Jeju Island. The pork here is Jeju black pork. You can tell by the little black hairs. She doesn't even advertise it as premium, but it really is. The meat is tender, soft, and packed with flavor. All the vegetables she serves are from her own garden. She harvests them fresh every morning, even the pickles. When I asked, she brushed it off like it was nothing, so humble and cute. This really shows how proud people in Jeju are of their local produce. Afterwards, with a simple 1:1:1 ratio of soy sauce, vinegar, and sugar, we headed back to the market to pick up fruit and dessert to enjoy by the ocean. One thing you must try in Jeju is omegi taeok, a type of rice cake that comes in different varieties. Omegi is the Jeju dialect for millet, and these are millet-infused rice cakes usually filled with red bean paste. The process is fascinating. Rice flour and millet powder are cooked, shaped into cakes, pressed to form a hole, filled, sealed, and then rolled in different coatings like black sesame powder, soybean powder, white bean powder, nuts, or even whole red beans. What makes them special is that the dough is infused with mugwort, kind of the Korean version of matcha. It gives the rice cake a green color and a light, earthy flavor. Freshly made, they're warm, soft, and slightly chewy. I tried the black sesame one first. It was soft, fluffy, and filled with sweet red bean paste. The sesame coating added a nutty finish. Absolutely delicious. My mom actually orders about 30 of these at a time, freezes them, and lightly pan-fries them with perilla oil. Crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, but nothing beats eating them fresh. I also tried the red bean-encrusted omegi taeok. It looked a bit wild, almost like mini bugs on top, but the taste was great. Still, the black sesame remains my favorite. The market here is also full of citrus stands. What's cool is that most of the sellers are the farmers themselves, bringing fresh produce straight from their orchards. There's a bunch of different citrus varietals that you can get here in Jeju. There's tonang, mandarins, baby mandarins, and green ones. The varietals go crazy. But the one thing you absolutely need to try is halabong. There's really nothing like it. It's like if an orange went to the gym, took steroids, started creating, went bald, and got really ripped. That's halabong. These restaurants also serve the fresh catches of the day from the henyo. Henyo are free-diving women who go into the ocean to collect sea urchins, sea cucumbers, and other fresh seafood. They bring their catch straight to the restaurants to sell. These places then prepare sashimi with whatever seafood was caught that day, truly fresh from the sea. Here we have an assortment of abalone, recognizable by its shiny shell. There are also two different kinds of conch, the king conch, which is juicy and meaty, and a smaller variety of mollusk that lives on the rocks. The chef cuts it off, removes the intestines, and slices it. We also have another type of seafood. I don't know its English name since people don't eat it in the US, but I'll share the official name here. It's a little briny, soft, and really prized for its texture. Locally, it's even called the foie gras of the sea, and in the center of it all, we have the sea cucumber. Yes, it looks like the penis of the sea, covered in little prickles, but it's a delicacy loved in Korea. Just look at how beautiful everything is. These places are called pojangmatcha. They started out as makeshift street wagons but have now become very popular spots for drinking. And when you eat seafood in Korea, you drink, usually soju. The soju here is unique to Jeju. It comes from a major distributor, but each region has its own local twist. This one is infused with Jeju barley. On the packaging, you can even see Halasan Mountain and the words Jeju Premium Soju. The abalone tastes crunchy, almost like scallops, but with a stronger briny flavor. Everyone is surprised this is my first time trying it. But new friends are easily made over Jeju soju. That's the power of drinking culture in Korea. Normally people here are a bit shy and reserved, but with soju anything is possible. The sea cucumber looks a little freaky. It's chewy, brinier than abalone, and has a sharp saltiness that really hits you. If abalone has a sweeter finish, sea cucumber leans more savory and intense. The texture is fascinating, almost like gnawing through soft bones. Koreans love this kind of salty food to accompany drinking because it lingers as you chew. And with soju, it's almost like having an ocean-inspired margarita. Really, the main point of coming to places like this is to enjoy time with friends, share drinks, and take shelter when the weather gets rough. It's cozy, intimate, and always special. Then comes the ramen. The cook starts with conch, abalone, and seaweed, adding them before the water boils because they take the longest to cook and tenderize. As the water begins to boil, the abalone squirms. It's alive and being cooked, which is brutal but creates an incredible broth. Then she adds the noodles with a ramen seasoning packet. I've never had ramen with seaweed before, but she also tosses in leftover seafood from earlier, plus thinly sliced octopus. This is probably the most luxurious ramen I've ever had in my life. No matter how fancy the food, Koreans always want to end the day with ramen. It's nostalgic, the taste of childhood, and it never fails to hit the spot. The ambiance makes it even better. Rain drizzling outside, ocean waves crashing on the rocks, and now that the older ajushi have left, a calm peacefulness like a storm has passed. It feels otherworldly, like touching a part of the ocean mankind still hasn't explored. The cook tells me, please share with the world that the people of Siak Mountain are very kind. And as I sip the broth, I understand why. The clarity. Seafood, grimy, crunchy, and fresh, is so good here. Where else in the world are you going to be able to have ramen like this, huh? I spoil you, baby girl, you know that. You know what the Korean version of Netflix and chill is? It's, hey baby, want to come eat ramen at my place with seafood with sea cucumbers? For people listening only by audio, that might sound strange. But one of the biggest delicacies you can get here on Jeju Island is definitely mackerel sashimi. Being able to eat mackerel raw, not cured in vinegar, salt, or anything else, just fresh, is a huge flex. That's because mackerel is a bit of a drama queen. It dies almost immediately after being caught, making it very hard to keep fresh, let alone sashimi quality. Look how fresh this is. It has a natural shimmer from the oils in the fish. The red part of the meat holds the fat, and during the cold winter months it builds up even more, making it juicy and delicious. What I love about this place is also the range of banchan, or side dishes. We have kelp, stir-fried baby anchovies with walnut and sesame, fish cakes, kimchi, samjang with sesame oil and raw minced garlic, plus fruit salad drenched in mayonnaise, about 50% mayo, 50% fruit, but that's the way we like it. We call it fruit serrata. There's also white kimchi, which is just washed kimchi, spicy green chili with garlic, mackerel fish sauce, seaweed, and chuin. A sour salad dressed in the same spicy, sweet, and sour gochujang sauce we eat with seafood. Inside are Korean watercress or minari, onions, and green chili. And of course we have rice with millet mixed in. Jeju grows a lot of millet, so it's a true local touch. To eat it properly, first take a slice of mackerel sashimi and add a bit of samjang. Next, layer seaweed, rice, another slab of mackerel, and a little bit of the sour salad. Wrap it up with the seaweed like rolling a little joint, except it's seafood and crunchy salad. The balance between the slightly acidic rice, sesame oil, and the fatty mackerel is just beautiful. Honestly, it compares to fancy tuna, even though mackerel is considered poor man's food, cheap and abundant, unlike rare, expensive tuna. This restaurant is special because they slice the fish very thin, with perfect technique. You can't freeze it, so it requires real skill. Right outside, you can see the fishing boats with their bright lights, used to attract squid and mackerel before hauling them in. That freshness goes straight onto your plate because mackerel is fatty. It's best paired with garlic or green chili for balance. One very important thing, when eating mackerel sashimi, always go to a restaurant with a high turnover rate. That ensures the supply is fresh. If the fish isn't fresh, you'll know immediately. The smell will give it away. But if it melts in your mouth like butter, you're in the right place. Now, another dish we unlocked, thanks to my mom who just appeared out of nowhere, is braised radish with mackerel and spicy sauce. This is a true home-style mom dish, not common in restaurants. Jeju radish is special. The soil here is mixed with ocean minerals. It's slightly salty and packed with nutrients. That makes the radish sweeter and more flavorful than radishes from mainland Korea. In fact, Jeju radish is always a little more expensive because it's so prized. When cooked properly, radish brings out its natural sweetness, and paired with fatty mackerel, it's buttery, silky, and never dry. That's why I love this fish. It's flavorful and cheap. The leftover bones are even used to make a house-made stock, along with grains and young Napa cabbage. Normally, oily fish bones make poor stock, but here it's different. The broth has a grayish color like dirty laundry water, but smells amazing. Surprisingly, it tastes creamy, nutty, and even a little like soy milk. I suspect they add black sesame to enhance that nuttiness. Jeju is also famous for its oranges. You'll see endless souvenirs and products celebrating them. It's the only place in Korea where oranges grow naturally. Take the halabong orange, for example, so unique, with acidity almost like a lemon. The sweetness of an orange melded together, and especially in this backdrop, anything would taste great. What are we going to be doing today? Well, we're going to be looking at beautiful beaches, enjoying the nature that Jeju has provided for us. But most importantly, we're going to eat. Boy, are we going to eat. We're in a gorgeous village, Quag, on the eastern side of the island. This village is famous for carrots. Right now we're standing in front of a carrot cafe that specializes in carrot cakes and carrot juices, all made using carrots farmed by the owners themselves. I'm super excited. The village itself looks like it's straight out of a fairy tale or a Korean drama. It's beautiful, quiet, and the only sounds in the background are waves crashing against the rocks and birds chirping. My mom is even obsessing over a dog nearby. Honestly, I could grow old here. For breakfast this morning, we're going to enjoy root vegetables, carrot cake, and carrot juice. This cafe is actually a renovated old-style Jeju house. The variety of options they offer is incredible, so we're getting one of everything because I carrot resist. We're having carrot castella, carrot cake, carrot juice, carrot latte, carrot soup, and wholemeal carrot muffins topped with carrot jam. I don't think I've ever had this many carrots in my life, and I am super excited. The interior of this place is adorable, so cute it's almost hard not to get emotional about it. Let's start with the juice. This is what success looks like in a glass. The reason the carrots here are so much more delicious than any others is because of their proximity to the ocean. The soil naturally absorbs salinity, which makes the carrots slightly salty. That salt enhances the natural sweetness and flavors, just like how a pinch of salt in desserts elevates the taste. This carrot. Wow, this juice is incredibly sweet, and honestly, it's hard to believe there's no artificial sweetener in here. It's just the carrot itself, freshly cold-pressed as you order. The owner explained that their carrot cake recipe uses 1.5 times more carrot than flour. The more carrot you use, the harder it is to bake, which really shows some serious skill. On top, there's cream cheese frosting with crushed walnuts. The scent of cinnamon and the natural sweetness of the carrots hit you instantly. The cake is incredibly moist, moister than Michael Bublé's voice playing in the background. The cream cheese frosting is perfectly balanced, not overpowering, which is often my pet peeve with carrot cakes. The walnuts add a nice crunch while the cake remains light, fluffy, and moist. Everything in this cafe is carrot-themed: ceramics, artwork, stuffed animals, even carrot earrings and headbands. They've really gone all in on the theme, and I love it. These small, independent cafes are the places you should seek out, not Starbucks. You're in Jeju Island. Why settle for something familiar when you can experience something unique? Next, I tried the carrot latte, topped with a caramelized carrot cut into a flower petal shape. The carrot, simmered in syrup, is soft but slightly chewy from the drying process. Really nice. The latte itself is good, though the dairy and carrot flavors blend together. If you have to pick just one drink, I'd recommend the cold-pressed carrot juice to truly taste the essence of the carrots. Then came the petit fours. On top, there's julienne carrots simmered in syrup sitting on a whole grain muffin. The muffin is airy, light, and fluffy. You can tell by how little it weighs when you pick it up. The carrot jam adds a bright citrusy note reminiscent of orange marmalade. Lastly, the carrot soup. You can see the fibers and the flavor is light and healthy. It's not overloaded with dairy, which I appreciate because it lets the carrot flavor shine through. Delicious. This cafe proves just how versatile carrots are. People often underestimate them as just a pantry staple for stews, but here they stand out on their own. Especially when they're locally grown, high-quality Jeju carrots harvested with care by the couple who own this cafe. It's mind-blowing. Their dedication is admirable and their hospitality makes the experience even more special. You absolutely need to come here and try it. Honestly, on this trip to Jeju, we're only going to the 10 out of 10 spots. I hope you understand, it's not just Jeju food, it's the best of Jeju food that we're covering. This place, for example, is a true hidden gem. You won't regret traveling a little farther and putting in the effort to find these harder-to-reach spots because the reward is the best food. The main star of the show hasn't even arrived yet, and we already have this amazing array of dishes. This is just the beginning. Korean appetizers at their best. We have some grilled mackerel that's been filleted, and just look at how crispy the skin is. I love it when the skin puffs up, almost like a Neapolitan pizza. That's a good sign the mackerel was grilled under very high heat, usually with a salamander. Next, we have a Jeju specialty fish called akdam. That's rockfish in English. The fish is salted and dried to reduce moisture, which helps it keep longer. Then it's fried. Alongside that, there are pickled onions, kimchi jeon, which is a kimchi pancake, and in the center, cutlass fish sashimi. I've never had cutlass fish sashimi before. It's only possible when the fish is extremely fresh, and with the ocean literally less than a kilometer away, this is the only way you can enjoy it raw. Next to it, we have gajami sikai, made from the intestines of cutlass fish. They salt it heavily to create a fish sauce paste, topped with thinly sliced green peppers. There's also marinated rock crab with a squeeze of lemon, some spinach namul, and minari with onion and carrot chuyomche. On the stone plate, we have butter-grilled abalone. It smells incredible, perfectly caramelized, and when you're done eating it, you see the shiny mother-of-pearl inside, something Koreans often use in accessories and jewelry boxes. I've never had raw fish with fish sauce before, so this was really interesting. It's very much a Jeju thing. The texture is unusual, the outer film is tough to chew, but I can see how it could be an acquired taste. If I'd grown up eating this, I'd probably love it. Serving cutlass fish raw is a huge flex because it's difficult to preserve and only possible in Jeju, thanks to the freshness and proximity to the sea. I accidentally ate a whole chili pepper. Definitely not my favorite experience, but interesting nonetheless. Then there's the inner part of the abalone where all the fat is. It's soft, buttery, not tough at all, absolutely delicious. For anyone who's never tried abalone, I'd describe it like this. Imagine a scallop went to school, graduated from technical college, and started working. It matures, deepens, and develops flavor. That's abalone. The mackerel, again, is incredible. The skin is so crispy and oily, glistening with richness. It shatters in your mouth. Amazing. The fried rockfish, meanwhile, has a texture almost identical to chicken. I'm not kidding, it literally tastes like fried chicken. Sweet and sour notes balance out the fried flavors beautifully. And then the technique here is just next level. As MOS says, it's really all about the flick of the wrist. I've never seen fish filleted so dexterously with just a spoon and chopsticks. He removes the spine first, then the vertebrae, and even the finer bones on the underside. With a precise slice down the middle, he separates the meat so you can eat without worrying about tiny bones. You really have to be careful. Getting one of those lodged in your throat is no joke. Wow, to be able to whole grill a cutlass fish like this, I wonder how big their ovens are. This is actually crazy. It's like the fish is staring straight into my soul. Even the teeth look prehistoric. almost like we're eating a modern-day dinosaur whole. The flesh is almost milky, and look at the steam rising off it. The texture is soft, almost like tofu. I place it on top of my rice, add a little wasabi, and take a bite. It tastes like eel, but better, so delicate yet so fatty. It completely disintegrates in your mouth, pillowy and rich, absolutely delicious. Alongside, we get some seaweed soup, also very good. Then comes the cutlass fish braise, a very common dish in Jeju. Inside are onions, leeks, gochugaru, and of course stock made from the cutlass fish itself. It's braised on high heat until the fish becomes melt-in-your-mouth soft. This is what I call Jeju in a single bite, tender, flavorful, and comforting. On a warm summer day like this, it would be a crime not to have ice cream, or in this case, artisanal gelato made with Jeju flavors. I think Socrates once said that. Don't fact-check me though, I studied food science, not philosophy. There are 2 gelato places in Korea that I love, and when it comes to gelato, I'm picky. I have 2 rules. First, I don't want to see the gelato on display, it should be hidden. And second, it needs to be seasonal, delicious, and made with local ingredients. That's why I keep coming back to this spot in Jeju. I've been visiting for almost 4 years now. Each time, they offer a rotation of seasonal flavors depending on what's locally available. Remember how I said gelato should be hidden? That's because exposure to oxygen means more stabilizers, which means fewer real ingredients. We don't want that. We want the authentic, rich flavor. I start with chocolate. Chocolate gelato is always a great test of quality. This one is light, airy, creamy, and stretchy, the exact texture you want. Next is white temple milk tea, floral, aromatic, and smooth, then salted macadamia, so good. The Jeju lemon sorbet is a star. Lemons here grow from winter until early summer, and the sorbet is bright, acidic, and refreshing, not overly sweet. On a beach in summer, I'd go feral for this. The Jeju strawberry sorbet is also excellent, with visible specks of strawberry. The granules are fine and smooth, no icy chunks, perfect texture. Good gelato should be like toothpaste, neither solid nor liquid, stretchy and creamy. That's exactly what this place delivers. I try a salted milk gelato made with Jeju milk. A melon one that's fruity with a hint of cucumber, not my favorite since I hate cucumbers. And finally, rice gelato. The rice version is incredible. You can taste the individual grains, al dente but not raw, giving a chewy contrast to the stretchy gelato base. Fantastic. For dinner, it's seafood again. We order a huge plate of Jeju uni, or sea urchin, and honestly, it's shockingly affordable compared to Nobu or any high-end sushi bar abroad. At Nobu, this would cost hundreds. Here, it's around $50 for a massive portion, and the quality is just unbelievable. The side dishes, or banchan, are always a joy to explain. We get kelp muchim with vinegar, onions, and cucumbers, more seaweed, perilla leaf namul dressed in wild perilla powder, fern break, which is a Jeju specialty, boiled cabbage with paprika, and some samjang on the side. Eating uni here is pure bliss. I layer seaweed, uni, kelp, and a few veggies, but I skip the cucumber, my one food nemesis. The uni is creamy, briny, and decadent, almost like oatmeal in texture. I'm blown away. Next, we try bibimbap with uni. The components are unique: onions, kelp, carrots, perilla leaves, cabbage, cucumbers, masago, sesame oil, and a generous spoonful of uni. I skip the cucumber again, but the dish is still phenomenal. The uni ties everything together, creamy and rich. Fun fact, uni is actually the reproductive organ of the sea urchin. Testicles, to be precise, but I've never had testicles that taste this good. To finish, we enjoy seaweed soup made with uni-marinated stock. Light yet briny, it's a dish traditionally eaten by women during pregnancy because of its DHA-rich seaweed, which is great for brain development. It's also known to detoxify the blood and relieve bloating, comforting and nourishing. Alongside, we sip locally brewed Jeju ale. The perfect ending to a trip filled with unforgettable meals. We've had pork, seafood, cutlass fish, mackerel, uni, gelato, and so much more. Jeju is overflowing with world-class produce, and the pride locals take in their cuisine truly shines. Revisiting Jeju after so many years and experiencing it through food has been nothing short of amazing. If you're wondering whether a trip here is worth it, my answer is absolutely 1000%. It's just an hour from Seoul. and you'd be missing out if you didn't visit this island, its cuisine, and its people. Thank you for joining me on this food journey. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.